Hey, thank you for tuning in, man. My name is Ashton M. I've never really did anything like this before, and I've watched many a YouTube video, but never really thought that I would actually be making anything. But I put out that video the other day about those police harassing me in that parking lot, and I wanted to give a little backstory, and I wanted to let you know what's still going on right now. I'm currently homeless. I am living in my van. I don't really consider myself homeless like in that aspect where I don't actually have some place to go. I have a roof over my head. I have my dog with me. That's Sora. She's asleep, chilling out. But I'm down here in San Diego, California. I've been here, I don't know, off and on for the last couple of years. This time I've been here 3 months. I came from Florida, drove all the way across country. But anyways, that's really irrelevant, not really part of the story. But when I got here, I decided to try to do some day labor, some type of cash jobs. I was able to save up enough money to purchase a bicycle because walking or driving is not always feasible. The gas situation here in California is extremely expensive, and walking everywhere it's not really feasible. It's so far between places. I mean, in public transportation, I never really grasped the concept. I don't enjoy getting on a bus, sitting next to strangers. I guess I'm an introvert. It pains me to be in big groups of people, and right now this is a scary situation. I'm showing my face to people I've never met, and I'm just putting it out there. But regardless, chase the rabbit right there. But continue on with the story. I was able to save up enough money to purchase my very first bicycle so I can move around the area. I started meeting people. You live in the homeless community. If you live in your car, you kind of live in the homeless community. You start noticing people riding around. You start seeing people with bicycles. And it is what it is. You step out to enjoy the sunshine or take your dog out for a walk. You see the homeless people. I started hanging out in the community, a long time ago. So I mean, it's not really anything new to me. I've been around. Let's just say that. Well, I met this guy. He, I guess he was on some hard times. He had this bicycle he was trying to get rid of, and I asked him how much he wanted for it. He said he wanted $60. It was a specialized road bike of some sort. I looked it up in the stolen bike registry just to make sure, because I don't want anything to do with stolen property. Period. I might be out here, but I don't want to get myself in trouble. That's just the bottom line. And it didn't come up stolen. He gave me such a great deal on it. I ended up buying it, and I put it on Craigslist. It sold pretty much right away, like right before Christmas. Right before this incident on the 26th. I would say maybe on the 22nd is when I sold this bike. I ended up making $600 off it, and I was like, wow, what a profit! And just for doing what? Just nothing. Just purchasing a bike from this guy, finding out it wasn't stolen, and I've just put it on Craigslist. I was like, maybe I can make something of this. I mean, because this is money. I mean, it might not be a whole lot of money, but when you're living in your vehicle and you don't have a whole lot of bills, $600 goes a long way. I I decided to see if I can make a go of this, like being a resale shop, if you will, a buying stuff and just selling it back. Just making a profit. If it needs fixing up, maybe I can take it up to the bike shop, or maybe I can just do it on my own. Well, I decided to go ahead and pursue this. I saved back some money from that bike, $300 to be exact. I put back $300, and I was able to spend $300. I found the secondary bike. It was a purple Live. Don't worry, this all ties into the story that's going on right now. Forgive that noise. I'm gonna pause until it's over. Okay, my apologies. That took maybe 35 seconds. But this guy was selling this purple Live. It was made by Giant, I believe is what it was. I asked him if it was stolen. He swore up and down. He says, no, I just need the cash. It's not stolen. I give you my word. I looked it up, and it wasn't. I looked it up in the bike registry, and it wasn't stolen. I ended up purchasing this, and I held on to it for a little while. When I put it on Craigslist, it doesn't just automatically sell right away, and people are selling thousands of bikes every day. It's a hit or miss, really. You do got to take your time. I had a place to store it in my car, so it's not like I was worried about it getting stolen or anything. So that's my lot. So I purchased it and put it on Craigslist. Moving on to the 26th. On the 24th, though, this is when I met this guy named James, that gentleman that I told the police officers I was there to assist. He asked me if I would like to help him on Christmas Day go deliver 4 bicycles to a woman and her family, is what it was. She had some kids. This is what he told me. I'm just going by what he told me. He says she had some kids. He was selling these 4 bikes to her for a very good price. I think $60 a piece. He was gonna give me $20 just for my gas. I didn't ask for any more because I was just, it's Christmas, and the kids, or the day before Christmas, and the kids, deserve, a good Christmas present. I mean, and $20 is all I need for gas. I wasn't trying to make a profit off of him at all. It was just directly going into the gas tank. And if he was to hook me up with any more, like a tip or anything, fine. But I mean, I wasn't definitely asking for anything. I told him it was fine, and I will meet him whenever he was ready. I show up on he told me to come the next day after, around 3:00 on the 25th, and we would get this done. Well, 3:00 comes around, I go and meet him. But he wasn't totally 100% prepared. One of the bikes, I guess that he was waiting on, somebody else had borrowed it, and they left the bike lock wrapped around the frame. And we needed to find that person to undo the bike lock, so the bike was clean, I guess you could say. So it doesn't have anything from that other person. It was just a clean bike where they can just get, we can just drop it off. We ended up not being able to find the person who was able to take the bike lock off. And it was getting later on to the evening, and I do not like driving at night, and my van wasn't fully equipped to carry 4 bicycles at that time anyways. So I had to find a different mode of transportation anyway. So I mean, it just happened to work out that the very next that night I got a hold of this woman. She's the one that you seen the Tahoe. Well, she didn't see her, but you seen the Tahoe, the red vehicle, and she let me borrow it. It had a cargo carrier on the back, so I mean, it kind of worked out perfectly anyways. Well, we set it all up for the 26th. He wanted me to come by about 12:30 and was going to go ahead and just proceed to do it then. I told him I will be there, bro. No worries. 26 rolls around. I borrow the vehicle from the lady, and she said it was cool. I left my car with her. Anyways, she let me take off with the vehicle, and I told her I'd be back later. She said no problem. Well, I go back down to the beach, down to Mission Boulevard. I really don't go down and hang out at this area. Period. The police activity over there is just it's a high crime area with a lot of thefts, with stolen. And I don't like to be around thieves. I don't like to be around thefts. Just in general, I don't like crime, really. I just try to do my own thing, and I try to stay out of trouble. I do not want to jeopardize my freedom for somebody else. It's just not worth it. I get to the 72-hour parking lot, which is right across the street from the roller coaster, Belmont Park, I think is what I believe it's called. If you've been to San Diego, you heard of the roller coaster. This is where it's at. It's right over there on Mission Boulevard, and there's a parking lot. Like I just said, it's right across the street, and this is where I met James. Now, the person the person's car you see in the video, the white Suburban, the black guy, his name is Brian. He was currently living in his vehicle. He buys and sells bikes all the time. Mostly he just he fixes them is what he was doing. He fixes up bikes. I don't really know exactly everything that he does. I don't really care. Like I said, I just stay to myself basically. James, just so and right before I got to anyways, moving on. Right before I got over here, I texted James, said, "Hey, I'm on my way. I'll be there at 12." He never said anything back. He didn't text back. I get over to the park. I park a few spaces down from that white Suburban, so I don't feel like I'm involved in whatever they're doing over there. That girl you've seen, she was there. Her name is Michelle. This is actually my very, very first time meeting her. I didn't know anything about this woman prior to this day. It was kind of strange. Two strange people I just met, and they're both here. And then Brian, that guy over there. When I pulled up, their vehicle was surrounded with crap bike parts, bikes on the tree. It just looks like crap. And I didn't want to be involved, so that's why I parked a few spaces down, and I waited. Well, I did not see James, and James didn't respond to me for quite some time, and I was wondering, and I asked Brian, I was like, "Hey, have you seen James?" He was like, "Yeah, he went down to Starbucks." Well, Starbucks has Wi-Fi, and that's why he went down there. And his phone only works on Wi-Fi, so it made sense. But I had just texted him, and he should have already got the text message, right? Well, he never did text me back. It was kind of odd. I didn't understand what took him so long. Well, exactly 42 minutes after I got there, I had timed it. I don't know. That's just how my mind works. I was paying attention. He texts me. He says, "I'm on my way, bro. Sorry it took so long, but I'll be there in a little bit." Well, 15 minutes later, he finally pulls on up. During this time, I didn't really conversate with Brian and them. Like I said, I stayed in my car. I chilled out, listened to music, and that's just, it is what it is. James gets there. I get out of my vehicle. I say, "What's up, bro? You about ready to do this?" He's like, "Yeah." Well, we proceed to put the bikes on the back of the Tahoe. That's what he helped me out. And after I got that fourth bike on there, which was my bike, the very last one, the Specialized Cirrus that you heard in there, that was my bike. I put it as an end cap, I don't really have a major reason. It's just, I just figured I could just remove that one when we get to where we're going, take all three off it, and then put it right back on. I don't know. It is what it is. And I bungee corded it and locked them onto the bike, onto the cargo carrier. As soon as I got that last strap on, those two police officers materialized out of nowhere. Nobody gave a heads up, like, "Hey, cops in the parking lot." I mean, it really doesn't matter, but that's just what, and when you live in that community that you always hear, say, "Hey, there's always a heads up." Judge if you want, I don't really care. That's, if you don't know, you don't know. I don't really care. But that's just how it is. Nobody said nothing. Nobody said, "Hey," nothing. They were there, and they walked up to me. Totally bypass. You've seen the one parked behind the white Suburban, then you've seen the one that You didn't see the car, but there was one right in front of my the Tahoe I was driving. And they proceeded to just come straight to me. As soon as they got there, they told us, well, we got a call of a suspicious vehicle, basically is what it was. Suspicious stolen bikes. I don't know why suspicious. Suspicion of stolen bikes is what I'm saying. On or near a vehicle that matches my description. So it could have been the Suburban, could have been the Tahoe. There was no color involved. He didn't tell me anything else except we're just here for that. And he says, everybody in the general vicinity gather around. So everybody came, Brian, Michelle, myself, and James. So it's just us four. He proceeded to ask everybody their name. Everybody started coming up with IDs. He got to me. I just gave out a fake name. I wasn't even thinking to just invoke the fifth at the moment. I am very new to all this, to all the rights that we have, and I've been just watching these audit videos, and I just learned all this stuff, and what didn't come directly to my head at the time. But he got to me, and I just gave him a fake name. And after I was thinking, like, what did I do so wrong? All I did was pull up, I put the bikes on, and police just materialized out of nowhere. Well, everybody else was cool, and that's when I decided to go ahead and start filming. When that white cop walked up, I said it was my right. I want to speak to your sergeant or to your supervisor, and he says I will get him on the phone. And then I started recording, and that's when he said, well, I feel as American citizens, my right to, but I already told you what I said, and that was basically exactly what led up to that. You watch the whole video, and bam. After the fact, after I was able to walk away, after the sergeant says, yeah, you're cool, I had to leave the vehicle there because the Tahoe's front windshield was busted. I didn't know how I was going to get it out. Like I said, I straight up lied to the cop, like, oh, I have insurance. I have a way to tow it. I don't fucking know nobody here. I mean, it is what it is. The cops don't. I don't talk to police. I don't enjoy their presence. I try to avoid them at all cost. So after it was all said and done, I was shitting bricks. Like, what? How the hell am I about to get this car out? They're gonna, as soon as I go to the vehicle and take off, they're gonna pull me over because they want to see my ID. They want to know who I am. Why was I avoiding giving them my identity? Why was I what was I trying to hide? Is what they want. Obviously that's what they want to know. And I didn't want to go through that. So I got a hold of the lady. I was like, I told her exactly what happened. I said, I will get your car. I promise. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Well, about an hour and a half goes by. It starts getting dark. I found this person that I knew that at the beach. She and her husband did. She helps cook, and they feed people at the park. I mean, it is what it is. There's always some food down there, and they had a little bit of cash that they can throw around to help feed people. And I came to her. I was like, is there any way that I can pay you $20 to drive my Tahoe across the bridge into Ocean Beach? Because there's Mission Beach, across the bridge, you're in Ocean Beach if you're going towards Sunset Cliffs. And there's a 76 gas station right on Sunset Cliffs Boulevard as you're heading across. And I said, if you can just take it over there, Highway 8 is literally right there. I was going to get on the highway and take the vehicle back to this lady. And this lady I am referring to is my mom. So, I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and just put it out there. That's the one that was in the hospital. So we're just going to be honest. It's my mother. I wanted to make sure that she had her car, and that's the bottom line. Well, she helped me out. I was able to drive her car by. She followed me in the Tahoe, and I had her car, and we go to the 76. I give her the cash, and I just head straight to the hospital. Because that wasn't a lie. My mother was in the hospital with pneumonia. She was in there for like 2 weeks straight, and I thought she was going to die. She's 70 years old, and I really couldn't afford going to jail at this time. And just to let you know, I had a warrant. That's why I didn't want to give up my ID. And that's just it was an extraditable warrant from another state, and I couldn't afford to put myself in any other kind of predicament that wouldn't benefit my family. And my mom and myself is really the only two people in this world that we each other have. That's it. We only have us. We've been all over the country in the last 7 years, just by ourselves. We haven't settled anywhere. And it is what it is. I don't have anybody except her. So if I'm going to go to jail, at least I want it to be after the fact. If she happened to die, and what if she would have died in the hospital? And that's what I was worried about. She had pneumonia. Pneumonia is a killer of the old people, because the breathing. It's a death sentence sometimes, and it's bad. She's old. She's unhealthy. She's overweight, and she's all I have. And that's the only thing I was worried about. This warrant that I had, it does hold prison time. If I have to go back, it is prison time. And it had this the crime that I did. It happened back in 2014. I mean, it really doesn't matter, but I haven't been in trouble since 2014. But circumstances led up to this, and so it's just life happens the way it happens. And you can say you can do this, you can do that. It doesn't really matter. I've always got the short end of the stick. I don't have money to afford a proper attorney. I've always got the court-appointed ones, and they're just there just to do their job and go and get paid and go home. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care that you are going to serve time, or that they don't care about you. They don't. And you can sit there and say what you want. I have dealt with the court system for a very, very long time. I'm not new to this. I'm not a bad guy. I've done stuff in the past. Obviously I've matured a lot. I'm 33 now. I'm back in 2014. That was my last time I did anything, and it was stupid. But I was in jail in county for 3 months, and I just the court-appointed lawyer didn't do shit, and I just took the very first. I know now not to take the very first offer that the courts give you, but I did because I wanted out of jail. I wanted out of jail. And I'm not getting into that part because, that's, it's, I've already said too much, I feel, but I mean, it is what it is. Life happens the way it happens. So, moving on with the story, because this video is going to be a lot longer than I really want it to be. It's already at 23 minutes. But moving on with the story, that purple live that I had, like I said prior, what I said, I still have it. I still had it at the time. I believe that this has. Let me back up, because there's a part of the story that I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I'm doing this unedited. You can watch it or not. I told you guys I was going to put out a video. Here it is. If you don't like it, don't watch. A couple days later, after I refused my ID, I met this. I was at this at the park called Rob's Field. It's a skate park which is right across from Mission Bay and Ocean Beach. So I mean, all this area is within 1 to 2 miles. Pacific Beach, Ocean Beach, Point Loma. All that's within 2 miles of one another. I'm at Rob's Field, which is still on the beach, which is right down the way from Dog Beach. If you know where it's at, you know where it's at. If not, you can just look it up. It's fine. I'm sitting there chilling in my van this time. I'm very vigilant in keeping the trash picked up around my car, because I don't want to be involved. I don't want nobody approaching me like officer related. I make sure this trash is all picked up. I make sure there's nothing in here. I make sure that I just make sure that I keep my area clean. There's this guy that was hanging out with me, Tim, is his name. And he does a lot of recycling. That's how he makes his cash. I step out of the van, and then there's some bottles and cans right outside. I pick them up, and I place them, off to the side where they're away from my car. I make sure all the trash is picked up. I get back in my car. 5 to 10 minutes later, he says, "Hey, bro, you in there?" And I was like, "Yeah." Well, he comes on in. We smoke some weed. That's after we get done smoking, which wasn't, it was just a couple minutes. I see the police come up through the grass next to the field itself, next to the bathrooms. The police like to run up like that. They don't come down the driveway. They try to catch people doing stuff. So they'll come off the road or whatever. They'll come through the grass. They'll come up the pathway. That's just, they're sneaky like, or they try to be sneaky like that. Well, I had all my curtains up around the car. So, I wasn't really worried about it. I wasn't doing anything. I just picked up all the trash. I had no qualms with them. I wasn't doing anything for them to stop. Well, they circle the parking lot twice, staring hard at my car. I'm over here watching them, obviously. I was like, what the fuck? And they stop right behind my van. They knock on the side, just right there. And they said, San Diego Police Department, I need to speak with you. Can you come on out? I'm like, okay. I go on. Tim stays inside the vehicle. I go outside the vehicle. And when I open the door, there is fucking trash everywhere. There's a bag right there, and there's like trash around it, like kind of purposely spilled over. And you can believe me or not, I did not put that there. And I made sure that the trash was picked up before I was in here. So the only other option was Tim. Tim did it. I believe he set me up. And I believe that James set me up. And I believe that Michelle girl that was there was a part of it. The bootlicker that you guys call her. I believe all this was for a reason. I fucked up when I first got here and I told somebody I had a warrant. And here in California, they try to take away your fourth waiver and they want to search you. They want to search you. The people here, they make money by turning people in and snitching on people. They make a little bit of pocket change for whatever drugs they do. And most of these people are heroin addicts. And I've come to find this out. And there's a lot of shady people. There's a lot of shady shit that goes down with heroin addicts. And Tim is a prime example. All that trash was sitting outside my car. The cop says, well, you guys are littering. There's litter out here. I'm going to need to see some ID. I tried to invoke. I was like, well, I want to, what do you mean? Is this a crime? I didn't know exactly what to say because he bombarded me. I wasn't prepared. I'm not used to this, an actual crime. I didn't know if littering is a crime. I don't consider it littering. What? Because, there was a little bit of trash out, but, it was in a bag mostly. And I said we were just cleaning out the car and we was going to take it to the trash. I didn't say anything about Tim being in the car. Nothing, not a word. I'm not a snitch. He didn't step out, so I decided, well, if he didn't want to step out, he didn't want to step out, fine. I stepped out, closed the door. The police talked to me, and I said, this is not my trash. He said, well, it's by your van. I said, but it's not my trash. I said, we was cleaning out the car a while ago, but this trash right here is not mine. Well, it's by your van. It's in your general proximity. It's yours. I'm going to need some, it's littering, and we're going to write you a ticket. So we need to see some ID. At that point, I had no idea what to do. Because it's a crime. He just said it was a crime. Is it? Is it not a crime? I don't know. I still don't really know what I could have done in that situation. But I had to show my ID. I felt I had to, at least. I didn't know anything else. I had to show my ID, I felt. So I did. I gave him my real name. Just like I predicted, I got arrested because of that warrant I had. I thought I was gone. Well, at this time, my mom was already out of the hospital. Like, she had just got out like a couple days prior. But I thought that was it for me. I thought I was going to go serve my time. I even went down to the jail. I sat there all day. They booked me, intake, everything. I was fully prepared to be extradited. That night, something strange happened. I got released. The officer came down, said my last name. Somebody else was in the same. Said both of us. I was like, yeah. Well, you're getting released. Get your bag and go down to, whatever it is, where property, I guess, to get your stuff and sign to get out. I was dumbfounded. I was like, okay, but I wasn't going to argue, obviously. Nothing was on my mind except leaving. Before I got locked up, let's back up a little bit. I told my mom, don't let Tim back in my car. I knew he did that, so I don't trust him. I don't want him in my fucking car. And she says, oh, I won't. I promise. Well, lo and behold, the person who came and picked me up that night was Tim in my car. I got back. It was strange. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't say nothing to him. I just appreciated that he was there to come pick me up. We get back to where I stay, and my mom is. I go and talk to mom, and I told her, so what's the deal? Well, apparently Tim's talking to her. It was all cool, and I still didn't trust him. I had that purple Live bike, and also had a red downhill bike that I bought from that same guy that I got that Specialized from. The purple Live bike came from somebody else. The Specialized and that red downhill bike came from somebody from the same person. So purple Live from one guy, Specialized and downhill bike from another guy. But that's it. Those two individuals. Like I said, I was selling bikes. This is what I was trying to do. I was trying to flip them. Well, Tim was riding that red bike, and I ended up, losing that. If you can see, I'm a little beat up. He set me after that night, after I got picked up. 2 days later, he told me that he had that red bike sold. It was going to be $300 cash, and that's all I wanted was a $300 cash. And I was going to be done with him because I did not trust him at the time. I just wanted, after I got out of jail, I didn't hang out with him really. I didn't really let him back in my car. I didn't really go down to the beach. I didn't hang out with nobody. I just chilled by myself because I knew, or I felt, that it was a setup. He came up to me. He says, "Hey, I sold that red bike for $300," and I got, I went down there to make sure I got my cash. Basically, I got it stolen from me. When I got down there, he took the bike. He said he'll be right back. He came back about 15 minutes later, and he said no, they didn't want it, which was full of shit. He was so adamant about it. He even told my mom.